Right, off we go. I'm just going to minimize that, go into my desktop. Now, what I'm going to do is just take a bite-sized piece. It's the sort of thing with whiteboards or touch screens where we're going to look at an image or a diagram or a piece of text and then use the tools we have to make it. On the website, there is a link to a folder. Now, if I just open that up, I've called this I Spy. And in that folder, if I just open up this page, this is a sort of aid memoir. So if you download this, this will be on an A4 sheet, and it's something you can use perhaps if you want to practice this exercise afterwards, or if you're going to show other people, you can use it to cascade to them. So that's there, ready to be printed off. Let me just get rid of that. Picture is the image I'm going to use. Now this is it's to do with the alphabet. It's obviously for lower primary children, Key Stage 1. This could just as easily be a diagram of a skeleton that you want to label. It could be a famous artist picture, could be a piece of text. So what I'm going to do, first of all, let me just close that. Got Spark running already. So I've got it on the floating toolbar. If I go to the switch button on that, I Spark page straight away. I'm assuming that you've had a look at Spark, you've opened it up, you are familiar with these icons and so on. They're pretty standard along here. A few other tools, but what we're going to concentrate on today is one or two annotation tools and then one or two of the presentation tools. In terms of view, you've actually got options on here. This is the standard Windows view, which if you've used other whiteboards, you'll be reasonably familiar with. If I just click on view, we're on window mode. If I click on frame mode, this just changes it. So we've got a lot of the icons along the side and along the bottom. We've also got the floating toolbar. I just go to File. We've got full screen mode. So there we've just got a blank page with a floating toolbar. But I'm going to go back to window mode. So this is the one that I probably use the most. So first of all, we want to get that image I showed you onto the screen. So if I go to media, that's the little blue icon, looks like a sort of film board. I click on that. Now, this is where I've got my different folders. Got some in pictures, but if I go back to desktop, and it was that Spark training folder, and it was the I Spy folder. So I found the image I want. So any image I've got in my folders, I can pick on, and what I'm going to do is double click on that. So if I double click on that image, now starting on the top left, I'm just going to drag it on screen. And you can see every time we have an image, if we click on it, we get 4 toggles around the outside. Again, any image, if I click on it, I will see these. Pretty straightforward. I've got top left, I've got a sort of orangey brown one. That is for moving the image around. So I just lock onto that. I can drag it around. Top right, I've got rotate. Change the angle of that image. Bottom left, I have got menu. So if I click on there, there are all the things I can do with that image: cuts, copy, paste, delete, etc. But at the moment, I want the bottom right. So I click on there, I can drag it to size. So let me just maneuver that, put it back to that corner. I want it as big as I can get it on my screen. Top's got a wide expression it to fit. And what we've got on this picture, the object of this picture, every image on there should start with a different letter of the alphabet. So this is the idea that I'm going to get a group of children to focus on this picture, work on it, a bit of collaborative learning, because we can work together on this. Just what I want to add to this as well is a checklist of the letters. So I'm just going to click on text box, drag that underneath, and then you may have to forgive my typing, is going to be very slow. So I'm just going to type out the alphabet: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, L, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. I think that's right. So I've got that in place on there. It's a bit small, so if I just highlight that, going to change the size. So all fairly standard Microsoft stuff. Click, and that's in place. Okay, I can get rid of that, tidy that up. Just let me stretch that. So again, you can see this is just like the above image now. I can maneuver that into place. Right, so this is my introduction. We're looking at picture. Can we spot different letters of the alphabet? So just going to start by, perhaps I might invite one of the children in the group to come out and annotate. So the first thing we're going to need is an annotation pen. So I'm going to click on Smooth Pen. So this is just a standard sort of felt pen, whatever you like. I want to check on the color. So if I move along to the palettes, click on the palettes, then I've got all the different colors. If I click on others, I've got a wider range of colors there. Just going to stick to red. Okay. What about width? So if I click on the width icon next to it, I think we'll go for medium. Again, I can use the slider or just pick simply thin, medium, thick. So first thing is, I've asked somebody to come out and see if they can see anything beginning with the letter A. And luckily, bottom left-hand corner, I've got an apple. So my best writing, I'm going to put a letter A next to it. I want to check that off on my list. So it'd be quite nice to use highlighter. So again, that's another pen option. If I come onto highlighter pen, same thing. I can choose the color. So I go along to palette. I'm going to choose a traditional yellow highlighter. Let's go for a medium pen width, and we're going to check off letter A. And again, you can see, as with a standard physical highlighter, it's semi-opaque. Now, this is perhaps a good point to mention that if I go back to pen, just check on the color, reds. Let's go for a medium. These are multi-touch. What a lovely way you could use this is to have 2, 3, up to 4 children, perhaps highlighting different letters. So let's have a look. I can't do it. I'm on the laptop, so I'm not on a multi-touch board, and I've only got one pair of hands. So we'll just do it one at a time so I can start to label them up. I think that's a sun, yacht, skeleton. So I start to label up. Why have we got? Oh, that must be. We've got 2 S's by the looks. Not to worry. So I need to erase that. Very simple. I can go to eraser. Now, this is where I have to be a little bit careful. You've got 2 choices on eraser. If I pick up pixel eraser, this is again just like using a physical rubber. I could start to rub out the annotation. So that's easily done, but I have to be careful if I go to region eraser. Region eraser is very useful because if I lasso something, anything inside that lasso will be erased. The only problem is if I use it on here, just go around that one, it erases everything else in the side of the lasso, which includes the picture. So I'm just going to undo that, and there we're back to before. Just going to rub out those annotations. So I'm very carefully, I choose pixel eraser. Let's rub, and we're back to there. A very useful tool, I find, if you're trying to focus attention on a picture or a piece of text, is something we call the laser pen. So again, click on laser pen. And what I'm going to do is go back and choose a color. Whoops. And just for change, I'm going to use that purplish color. Medium thickness again. The beauty of this is, now I might be asking children, let's have a look. What do you think this one begins with? Now I've drawn a circle around it, but hopefully you can see that that circle is pulsating in and out. So if the idea is to focus attention on that, so we might come up with the answer to that. And the nice thing is if I go on to something else, let's go on to this, the same thing happens, but if you notice, the first one has gone. So this is a very speedy way of focusing attention around the image. So we've looked at that one. What about that one? Again, you can see the color coming in and out to focus attention, but the previous one has gone. So I think that is a really, really useful tool. Right, let's do something slightly different. We're now going to look at tools. If I go into tools, so you've got your icon at the top, I now get a menu of different tools that I can use. One that's very useful is spotlights. Again, what I'm trying to do, if I've got some younger children, perhaps make it into a little game, focus attention again. So if I click on spotlight, I now get this circular window. If I put my cursor in the gray section, I can just move that around so we can focus attention. That's quite a big circle. I'm covering too much there. So if I put my cursor pointer into the red ring, hold it down, I can now move that in and out. So that changes the size of that. Let's go a little bit smaller. Put my cursor back into the gray area, hold the left click down, and I can move around. That's a bit better. So I've got more of a focus on there. If I just click in the gray area, I get a menu. Again, I've got choices. I can change the transparency. I can change the shape, the color. So I've got choices in there. Let's go for shape. So let's go for triangle. Very simply change the shape. I don't know if that's the most suitable shape for this exercise, but just to show you what I can do. And again, I can change, drag it, change the orientation and the size. Again, if I click in the gray area, let's change the color. Let's go for a green. Okay. Again, that glares a bit, but certainly focuses attention. Right, let's come out of there. I'm just going to click in the colored area, click on exit, and full screen. Another tool in there that might be useful is something that is called Curtain. So I click on there. Now you can see I've got that completely colored. If I go to one of the lines around the outside, you can see I get that double arrow. If I just hold down on the left click, I can just up and down, a bit like we used to do with an overhead projector and a piece of paper. Again, I can do that left, right, up, down. So I can reveal from the bottom. Whoops. That's better. Again, that's just something I can play with, make a game of that. If I click in the colored area, I've got my menu again. So again, different things, I can change color, etc. So let's come out of that. One more thing I'm going to do, just looking around, is I want to make a game of it. So if I go into tools there, I might want to use something like the clock timer. So I'm going to do that, click on clock timer. So we might have a little competition with the children, see who can find the most different number of items in a given time. Again, if I just click on that clock item, I can change it. I think size of the clock, let's go for small. Let's go back. I think I would like it to be digital. That's too small now, so let me go back to the size. Let's go to large. Whoops. Let's just move that into the middle. Let me click on it again, and I think I would like a countdown. I think those times are too long, so let's go for custom, and let's make that 30 seconds. Okay, so that's set on 30. So it's your job to find as many different items as you can, moving along the alphabet. And if I click on there and start, so the countdown is on, and we can see that's setting the pace for this little exercise. And it's quite nice when it gets down the ends. We do get going to the red zone. I should have set that at a smaller time, but even so, can you see we're starting to get a warning now? And that's quite a nice little device to use with children. There we are. Time's up. Oh. Okay, we'll stop that there. Right. I think in many ways that's covered quite a few useful items. So what we've looked at is bringing an image onto the screen. So that is, just to recap, that's going to media, finding a folder, double clicking, dragging it onto the screen. We found that, we go back to cursor, if we click on any image, we get the 4 toggles. That's for resizing, for rotating, that's for moving it around, and that's your menu. And again, there's lots of things which we'll cover some of those in later exercises. We brought on text, and again, once that's on, if I click on there, that is the same as an image. And I've also got, let me just move that down. If I click on there, I've got the edit button. So just as I would in Word, I can highlight letters, I can change fonts, change sizes. Again, for a lot of the work I did using whiteboards in school, a lot focused on getting children to think about the images, work with the images. Beauty of this is multi-touch, so it makes for collaborative teaching. And again, it gives you the whole range of what you can use, whether it's text. This could be video just as easily as a still image. I hope that's been useful. What we're going to be looking at in later webinars is the same sort of idea of picking out a particular aspect of how you'd use it in presentation and teaching. I think that's quite a lot to take in one go. I'd be interested in feedback just to see whether that's been useful, whether the pace has been too fast. Remember, if you go onto the website, then you can download that instruction sheet, so that might help if you can't remember everything we've gone through. And I think for the moment, if I just minimize that, and I'm going to stop recording now. So the recording stopped.